While I'm at it, I should also note that there are 3 representatives of the great U.S. Military Academy class of 1974 this evening as well. They're a small but wonderful bunch of guys. We clearly should recognize them also, or I'll never hear the end of it from my West Point classmates. Please stand up, pride of the Corps. Good to see you're still sober. Well, as I mentioned, there is one additional commitment our country has to its veterans, the need to continue to recognize their service and their sacrifice. This is important not just for our veterans, but for our country. Much has been made of the fact that a very small portion of the population is carrying out this generation's wars. Honoring our veterans' service is one small part of a larger effort we must continue to ensure that the so-called civil-military gap is as small as is possible. This is, I believe, a moral imperative. With those 4 responsibilities in mind, taking care of our Gold Star families, supporting our wounded veterans, helping our veterans transition successfully to civilian pursuits, and recognizing our veterans' service, I think it's fair to ask how we believe our country is doing in meeting them. As we do so, we should recall George Washington's timeless admonition that the willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war shall be directly proportional to how they perceive veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by our nation. As an overall assessment, I think it is fair to say that the United States has done reasonably well in meeting its obligations to those who have fought to help keep us safe. Even so, as with any endeavor, there clearly is room for improvement. Now, over the last decade, the Veterans Administration has received significant budget increases, some 40% in the past 4 years alone. It's established such programs as the post-9/11 GI Bill, which some here are using, and enhancements to that not only pay for college, but also for technical and non-degree producing training and apprenticeships. There are also other initiatives like the new automated Veterans Benefits Management System and the integrated electronic health record that is so important. Commendably, the President and Congress are ensuring that VA funding is sustained even in the face of the tough fiscal realities facing our country. This is hugely important as the VA works in particular to reduce the time required to see to our newest veterans' needs and to process their claims in a timely manner, tasks that all involved recognize are absolutely imperative. There generally has been heartening support as well for the programs overseen by the Department of Defense to care for our wounded warriors and the families of our fallen. And these and other national, state, and local programs are supplemented considerably by a variety of nonprofit organizations devoted to providing additional support to our veterans and the families of our fallen and wounded heroes. Beyond that, in stark contrast to the shameful way we treated those who returned from Vietnam, Americans have worked hard to honor those who have served, even when the policies our men and women have been executing have been questioned by some of our citizens. I remember, for example, driving from Cambridge, Massachusetts to the airport in Boston in 2006 after spending time with our son at MIT, where he was in ROTC, by the way, and seeing on a bridge over the road a large sign that read, "Hate the war, love the troops." Well, I said to my wife, 50% ain't bad, adding that the sign makers had at least made the right choice if they had to choose between the two. All of this notwithstanding, there is no question that we need in some areas to do more for the families of our fallen, our wounded warriors and their loved ones, and those who return unharmed. As I mentioned earlier, the veteran unemployment rate consistently exceeds the national average. There are post-9/11 veterans who do not have a place to sleep or call home. and some veterans are still struggling to get the care they require in a timely manner and to have their claims resolved expeditiously as well. We must continue to devote the time and energy to address these issues in particular, and it was very important, I think, to see Veterans Administration Secretary Shinseki emphasize on Sunday his commitment to doing just that, a commitment he reiterated to me yesterday when I talked to him about coming to this event. As I noted, we must also focus on improving the transition veterans go through as they become civilians. This has to include ensuring that all veterans are able to take advantage of the programs available to them to help them be all they can be as civilians. These actions in support of our veterans are, in truth, sacred responsibilities. And this event and USC's many other initiatives to support veterans demonstrate that the leadership of Trojan Nation understands and is intent on meeting its share of these responsibilities. And in view of that, and for all that USC does, I once again want to say thank you and well done to President Nikias, Chairman Roski, and to all of you, and thank you again. As I close, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you as well to those who provided words of encouragement to my family and me in recent months. That support meant a great deal as we sought to look forward rather than backward. This has obviously been a very difficult episode for us. But perhaps my experience can be instructive to others who stumble or indeed fall as far as I did. One learns, after all, that life doesn't stop with such a mistake. It can and must go on. And the effort to move forward over the rocky path of one's own making is vital, inescapable, and ultimately worth it. I know that I can never fully assuage the pain that I inflicted on those closest to me and on a number of others. I can, however, try to move forward in a manner that is consistent to the values to which I subscribe before slipping my moorings, and as best possible to make amends to those I have hurt and let down, and that is what I will strive to do. In the past, when I received an award, I would note that I did so only inasmuch as I was able to accept it on behalf of the men and women in uniform and in the intelligence and diplomatic services with whom I was privileged to serve in the battles of the post-9/11 period. Any applause for me was, therefore, applause for them. Tonight is an opportunity once again for me and for all of us to say thank you to those selfless Americans who put it all on the line downrange, day after difficult day under the toughest of conditions, against the most challenging of enemies, to help safeguard our fellow citizens and preserve our interests around the world. This room is full of such individuals, and it was the greatest of privileges to serve with them and countless others like them during my time in uniform and at the CIA. It has been a true honor to be here this evening to help you recognize your current and future veteran service, as well as to discuss our nation's obligations to our veterans and their families. In so doing, it has been a privilege to applaud USC's very impressive initiatives to help the many veterans, active duty service members, and ROTC cadets who are part of Trojan Nation, and to applaud the leadership of a great institution that shows its appreciation to those in its ranks who have served and who do serve. May God bless each and every one of you, our veterans and their families, and all those in harm's way tonight. Go Trojans, fight on. Thank you very much.
I have a little present for you to remind you this evening and your visit to USC. It's silver cufflinks that they have the USC shield. So it could be a reminder of USC when you wear those cufflinks, but also of the ancient Spartan warriors with the motto that with the shield or on the shield. I also have a little present for you that you joined us this evening. For you is a USC pen.
General Petraeus, on behalf of the Army, Navy, and Air Force ROTC units here at Trojan Nation at the University of Southern California, a small token of our appreciation. Thank you for your service as well and your future service to veterans and veteran families.
Can we all stand and benediction? Again, thanks.